Sempre nasceu um músico.
All these babies call me Captain Jackson. Please don't steal my style. I might cuss you out. What you doing now? I did for a while. Missy. Go ahead, let it snap. I'ma snatch they wigs till I see that scap. Booty claps. Flying across the map. Lambo on the block. Looking like a snack. I show you how I do it. Show you how it's done. Don't look for another Missy, cause there be no another one. Watch me, do it back. 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 Do it back. Do it back. Do it back. Watch me, 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 do it back. Do it back. Do it back.
Fucking hands up. This a bad bitch anthem. Get your fucking hands up. Get your hands up. Get your fucking hands up. Bad bitch anthem. Get your fucking hands up. Get your hands up. Get your fucking hands up.
Why men great till they gotta be
This a
great?
bad bitch anthem. Get your fucking
I
hands
just took
up.
a DNA test, turns out I'm 100% that bitch. Even when I'm crying crazy, yeah, I got boy problems, that's the human in me. Bling bling, then I solve them, that's the goddess in me. You could've had a bad bitch
This a bad bitch anthem.
with your career, just a little. You supposed to hold me down, but you holding me back, and that's the sound of me not calling you back. Why men great till they gotta be great? Don't text me, tell it straight to my face. Best friend set me down in the salon chair. Shampoo press, get you out of my hair. Fresh photos with the bomb lighting. New man on the Minnesota Vikings. True hurts needed something more exciting. Bum bum dum dum bum.
Working bad means spend a couple thousands on my in my cheeks. Get my teeth done. Cash at me. Sneak dissing on the ground at me. What my bad looking for it at me. Fashion over dressing, they ain't wearing no panties. So boy scam. Where they at? I just seen 100 bottles coming from the back. I don't work jobs. I am a job. You don't like it, take a hike. Pay me for it. I'm a rich with an attitude. Pipe it down, but I whoop you like your mama do. I don't work jobs, I am a job. You don't like it, take a hike, pay me for it. I'm a rich with an attitude. Pipe it down, but I whoop you like your mama do.
Talk to him. It make him give it up. It make him back and spin racks in that lamb truck. I ain't got no time.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Anna.
Hello.
Nice to have
Hi.
you with me. It's quite a
Yes.
long time that we did it together, right?
I know. I think the last time was like maybe in October last year or something when we did the Twitter document strategy with spaces and
Exactly.
everything.
So
Yeah.
I'm very happy to have you again in my show because, American guys call it always show, but it's not show. It's actually educational session.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's why I'm very, very happy to have you with me. Hello, Milica. Nice to see you with us. So,
Hi, Milica.
guys, let me give you just a short overview. Let us introduce first and then tell you what you will learn, let's say, today in this session. My name is Professor John Keating. I'm the host of the session today. And I have with me Anna. Anna, would you like to give us a couple of words about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, my name is Anna. I'm a marketing assistant at Fiscal Solutions, who is kind of like a mother company to Ape School. And I'm also the Twitter manager of Ape School. So if you are following us on Twitter, that's me tweeting every day to you. And yeah, that's it. So I'm very excited to jump into this topic because it's very interesting. And I told Darko that I'm actually very, very excited, a little bit nervous because it's such an interesting and complex topic, but I'm sure that you will enjoy it and just have so many ideas after this session.
Thank you, Anna. You created a great bridge, let's say, to explain a little bit.
Yeah.
To explain a little bit what is actually the Ape School, because we are today acting in front of the Ape School, but also in front of the Fiscal Solutions, which is
Yeah.
actually, let's call it the mother company of the Ape School. So it's actually the company that is running the Ape School project. And Fiscal Solution is a company which is existing since more than 20 years, working with major and the biggest international retailers in the world, across the world. So we produce actually software for those guys. And as we are sharing the daily life with them, we know quite good, let's say, how the retail is working. Of course, from the technical point of view, from the software point of view, we are not the retailers. So of course, the details, retailers know the best, let's say. My name is Professor John Keating. In real life, I'm Darko. That's why you heard from Anna. She's calling me Darko. So I'm totally doxed. So if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, please feel free to do that. 2 words about the organization of the session today. So the idea is like this. We are streaming on 3 different platforms. We are streaming on everything simultaneously, so at the same time. We are streaming on Twitter, of course, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. We will do our best to answer all your questions in the chat and probably during the session as well. But the idea is that Anna give you an overview about very interesting topic. And I will give the short introduction before we go deep into the details. What we want to show you today is actually how to use the Web3 world, mostly the tools coming from the Web3 world in the Web2 space. So we think and we believe that there are so many very powerful tools which you can take out of the Web3 space and use them in the Web2 space, especially if we are talking about marketing, and especially if we are talking about exclusivity and personalization of the items, of the services, and so on. So this will be the topic for today. But before we go into the detail and before I leave the stage, let's say, I want to make a small advertising for our masterclass, which we will have on 8th of May. A masterclass is actually something which is totally free for everyone. Everybody can enjoy it. There are 7 lessons inside of that masterclass, all in all around 11 hours. Yes, I'm sorry, I'm not able to explain the basics in 5 minutes. I think nobody is really able to do that. I need time for that. And I think it makes sense to start with blockchain and to end with metaverse. And moving around the Web3 space, let's say, you will learn the real basics. What does it mean actually? I'm not teaching how to install the MetaMask or any other wallet, because I think there are much better sources where you can learn about those very important things as well, of course, but these guys are doing that much better. I think for you is a great opportunity, the masterclass, to learn about the things, why they are working like they work actually. And based on that, you can make your own decisions, you can develop your own strategies, and you can, let's say, move a little bit more secure, let's say, through the Web3 space. So far, so good. If you want to register, I will just share in a second.
We have the link in the comments, so
Okay,
I will
great.
just show it now on the screen.
Perfect. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
You
You
can turn it
already
to,
okay.
yeah, it's just a link
Perfect.
over there. So if you
Sure.
want to join, it's great. Go over there, register, and you will be invited to join on the 8th of May. As I told you, 7 lessons, 11 hours, and after that, you are a real professional guy. Okay, so far so good. Thank you very much. Anna, may
Yeah,
I ask you?
I have to add about the masterclass. I have to say that you're an excellent lecturer, and that, you know,
Thank you.
all of these topics are kind of new and maybe difficult to understand sometimes. I think Darko does a really good job at explaining it the simplest way as possible so that you can actually imagine how it works in real life. So I think if you want to learn something more about these topics, this masterclass is your go-to kind of tool to do that. So
it's a must. You have to be
it's a
there.
must.
I have some very interesting surprises as well for the guys which are participating. So maybe some nice presents, maybe some free NFTs or whatever.
maybe not.
And if you want to get more information, be on 3rd of May on Twitter or LinkedIn or YouTube, and we are calling it warm-up session. I will share with you lots of details about the session, about the trainings, and maybe about the surprises as well. So, but now, Anna,
Okay.
it's time to talk about the new era
It's
of
time.
exclusivity and personalization. What is it actually? And please take the stage and
Sure.
teach us.
Okay, I will now put my presentation here. Okay. So can everyone see? Can you just okay, I will just sorry. Okay, hide the banner. Okay, can everyone see the presentation? I think that everything is good now. Yeah, so as we said, today we're talking about a very interesting, a very complex topic. And, these are exclusivity and personalization are well-known and already used marketing tools. But now we're going to talk about them in a totally new and different way. So we're talking about using personalization and exclusivity in Web3 context, or better yet, how Web3 can help you make the most out of these two marketing tools. So just to start off, I'm going to show you a little bit about, I'm going to show you the agenda so that you know what we're going to talk about from beginning until the end. So first of all, we're going to take a look at who is active in the Web3 space. So who is your potential audience, and also who is already doing business in Web3. Then I will talk a little bit about personalization and exclusivity from a traditional point of view. So how it's done, what's its value. I will give you some examples of successful marketing strategies which happened before, and some successful marketing strategies that are now, present. And then I will move on to how Web3 can take this actually to another level. And this is, where the fun starts. It offers, a sea of opportunity, and I will give you also concrete examples of those who already tried and succeeded in using personalization and exclusivity in Web3 space. Of course, you're free to ask any questions. Just write in the chat box and we can discuss after the presentation, whatever may be interesting to you in this department about this topic. So as I told you already, after this session, hopefully you will get ideas on how to really skyrocket your business and your sales using exclusivity and personalization marketing tools in Web3 space. Okay, so who is exactly present in the Web3 space? We need to know this because you won't be able to define and implement your strategy well if you don't know who your audience is. So let's check some numbers about Web3. And they tell us that 51% of Gen Z and 48% of millennials envision doing some of their work in the metaverse in the next 2 years. Then 81% of consumers who have heard about Web3 think that it will improve their happiness and well-being. So this is like a random fact that I put there, but I think it's important because of the overall, overall topic today. 70% of Gen Z users say that they dress their avatars the way that they dress themselves, and that avatar style influences their real world outfits. And also, the Web3 market is currently estimated at $27.5 billion. So now that you've heard some numbers to start off, so what do you make of these numbers? What do you think about them? Do you think that they tell us that Web3 is something to be underestimated, or maybe it's going to become more and more popular? And, I will let you think about this a little bit. You can, of course, write in the comments your thoughts always. Okay, now let's reflect a little bit about who Gen Z users are, because it's important, because they're always, mentioned when there is talk of anything digital and virtual. They're basically the generation born in the time period of 1997 until 2010. And what's essential to know about them is that they're extremely online, so to speak. So they are known for working, shopping, dating, making friends online. So everything is online. They often turn to internet when looking for any kind of information, including news and reviews, prior to actually making a purchase. And they also value experiences over possessions. So they prefer shopping experiences that are engaging, immersive, personalized. They like brands that can offer unique, memorable experiences both online and in store. So in general, Gen Z is a generation that's more likely to be present in Web3 space, but it's not mean that there are no older generations active in Web3 space. And at the end, it doesn't matter to retailers. A client is a client, and they should be treated, the same. It doesn't matter to which generation they belong when making a Web3 strategy, for example. And you saw from the slide before that more than 40% of millennials, for example, are familiar with the concept of Web3. They are doing something in it, or they predict that they will be working in Web3 in the future. And also, our professor, John Keating, is part of the I think the generation before the millennials, and he is very, very knowledgeable about Web3 and knows everything about it, more than Gen Zers, millennials, combined. So that's another example. Okay. Now that we've seen, who our audience really is, let's take a look at who is already doing something in Web3 when it comes to retailers. So from this slide, you can actually see who did what in which year, in which part of the year, and who is preparing their projects for the future. So do you see any retailers that surprise you here with their presence, or maybe that there are some that you expected to see but they're not there? Feel free to write in the comments. I'm asking you these questions because I'm really interested in hearing your opinions. I would also like to hear if some of these retailers did some project that you saw before that really stood out to you, and I'm sure that you have some favorites. Okay, so now let's take a look at all the brands that did something in Web3 in 2022 and the first quarter of 2023. And this is only, mind you, 1 year. And, we were talking about retailers on the previous slide, and I just need to address the difference between brands and retailers, and to say that, today we will be focusing on retailers. And you're probably asking yourself why. Well, it's because our goal here is to increase sales, and that's what retailers do. Brands usually take actions to raise brand awareness, which may or may not, drive sales. Either way, brands are not as interested in sales in their strategy, or better said, sales is not their ultimate goal. And that's why we're talking here specifically about retailers. But I mean, look at the number of brands. I think it's very, very impressive. I don't know about you, but I was very shocked to see that all these brands are here in just 1 year. Okay, and now moving on to talking about personalization and exclusivity as marketing tools in traditional retailing. So these two concepts, as I already said, are well-known marketing tools which have been used by so many brands already, successfully. So the better a retailer customizes their marketing to the wants and needs of the audience, and aiming for their particular pain points, the more likely they are to create a more satisfying overall customer experience, engage their audience, and of course build trust. But the benefits to tailoring your marketing to the individual doesn't end in having just one satisfied customer. Those customers then often go to then recommend your brand to their friends and family. So, curating the customer experience to match the lifestyles of your customers is key to making them happy and feel welcome. So brands who present their customers with highly targeted suggestions can help customers save time and effort, which drives, of course, customer loyalty. Okay, when we're talking about personalization, the numbers tell us that 80% of customers prefer to buy from brands that offer personalized experiences, and that personalization brings 5 to 15% of uplift in revenue. So we can definitely agree that it's an awesome strategy if we want to build relationships with our customers and, of course, ultimately drive sales. So what exactly do customers like when it comes to personalization? I mean, what kind of personalized products do they like? These are, of course, coupons, discounts, reward programs, recommendations based on preferences, purchases, helpful and personal customer service. But, what is it that helps this strategy be successful? So two things are in the core of it all. It's data and roadmap. So basically, you can't do effective personalization without learning who your potential and existing customers are, where they're from, what's their background, their values, beliefs, what makes them excited, and what do they consider, for example, annoying. So, to answer all these questions, you need data. So when you have rich customer data, you can actually have this 360-degree view of your customers and always just be step ahead with your personalization strategy. However, I must mention that this is where the traditional strategy kind of differs from the one the Web3 offers. And this is in terms that it's much easier actually to acquire data in Web3 because, in a sense, customers give you their data without kind of spontaneously give you their data in forms of their opinions, preferences. They react to your content in your Web3 project. So it's very, very spontaneous. It's very easy to gather data. The data is much more the data is much, I think, more useful to create maybe content that would, cater to your customers. So this is where it differs a little bit. And also, of course, you need to have a roadmap. So this roadmap includes audience, segmentation, campaign creation, setting priorities, optimization, etc. Okay, and now let's dive into the examples of brands who are doing personalization well. I know that I told you that I wasn't going to talk about brands, that I'm going to talk about retailers. But I think it's very nice example here in terms of Coca-Cola and Netflix, because if you remember, Coca-Cola had this famous Share a Coke campaign, which launched in 2012. And it's still one of the most original examples of personalized marketing. So the idea was to, spread advocacy and love for the brand by replacing soft drinks logo with consumer names, and encouraging people to share with friends and just spread this brand's message using the hashtag share Coke. And also, their name, if you remember, on the Coca-Cola bottles. And thanks to this campaign, Coca-Cola saw a rise in sales for the first time in over a decade, thanks to this. Of course, Netflix gives you, recommendations to watch movies based on what you watched before or the preferences you entered, when creating an account. But when we are talking about retailers, so for example, Sephora has this loyalty program called Sephora Beauty Insider that offers highest level members early access to new products. They get an invitation to exclusive events and much more incentives. And the members also receive personalized recommendations, and the results are actually stunning. So about 80% of Sephora's total transactions come from the Beauty Insider members. So this actually works very, very, very well for them. Also, Ralph Lauren does kind of like a customization. They offer an opportunity to their customers to design their own shirts. So you can choose, from a selection of logos, flags, monograms. A similar thing is with Louis Vuitton. You can customize your own bag. Also with Nike, you can make custom sneakers. You can choose a model you like. You can choose a color. You can choose whatever kind of material that you like. Also, Starbucks. I think you're all familiar with their cups with names, which is a great strategy, because I think that these cups with your names usually end up on Instagram. It's a very interesting strategy for them, because they are doing personalization with cups, and then automatically are creating more buzz on social media. And this is just one example of Starbucks personalization strategy. They're also, for example, using gamified apps, making use of data, captured regarding customers' previous purchases, physical location, time of day, and where they go to, pick up their coffee. So basically, customers can place orders to pick the coffee up. They can pay using the app, and they even receive, reward points for every purchase, which can be exchanged later. Do you have maybe more examples that you can think of? I would like to hear more, because there are so many of them, and I just put the most obvious examples of personalization. So if you have any more examples, feel free to type in the comments. Okay. What about the strategy of exclusivity? This is a very important concept in Web3, and also a very important marketing tool, because everyone wants to feel like they are special and that they have something exclusive, right? So customers want to feel like they bought something exclusive, because it creates a sense of status and uniqueness, which increase their perceived value and provide a sense of satisfaction and pride in their purchase. So this strategy involves, offering products or services that are only available through a particular retailer or are limited in quantity, therefore creating sense of exclusivity and, scarcity. So 2 points are very, very important here, and that's that people want to feel special. So that's very important to know. So if you have that in mind, then you have done, basically half of the job with this strategy. So, people want to be the first to have something. They want to be the only ones to get access to some early, release of a product. So the point is that people really want to feel special. And another important thing to mention here is the fear of missing out phenomenon. So this is, a psychological phenomenon that, describes the feeling of anxiety or regret that people experience when they believe that others are having more enjoyable experiences, or, having better opportunities than they are. And retailers can actually use this phenomenon to their advantage by creating a sense of urgency and exclusivity around their products or services. So, for example, retailers may use tactics like, flash sales, limited edition releases, early access offers to create a sense of exclusivity and urgency around their products. So basically, to understand this better, let's take a look at a few famous examples of retailers doing the strategy of exclusivity. And the first one is, of course, Apple. I had to mention Apple because I think that their strategy is like the pinnacle of exclusivity strategy. I think they're doing it amazing. Just imagine that, people are actually saving money for months to buy an iPhone, and they are willing to wait in lines for hours to get their hands on a new iPhone. So, Apple often allows, customers to pre-order new products before they're released. They give early buyers a chance to be the first to own the latest technology. They release products in limited quantities. And it's just kind of this strategy of creating a buzz, and people are just lining up to what I said before, to feel special and to have this feeling of being the first ones or the only ones to have something new and so desired by millions. Other brands that are doing this are, of course, Louis Vuitton, who often, releases limited edition collections. They do partnerships. They give you customization options, which I talked about before. They have really high prices, which obviously sets them apart from others. But if we look at other, for example, brands that employ exclusivity strategies but are not as high priced as Louis Vuitton, these are, Zara, who releases new collections every few weeks. And of course, I have to say that I'm usually very active on the Zara online store, and I get very anxious to buy something new because it sells out so quickly. So yeah, I have fallen into the trap of this exclusivity strategy that Zara does. So basically, yeah, Zara does it very, very well. Other examples are, Uniqlo, Adidas, and H&M, who basically do the same kind of things as the other retailers do. For example, Uniqlo does this amazing collaborations with high-end fashion designers such as Alexandra Wang. And, these collaborations create a sense of excitement and exclusivity around the brand. And they're not as high priced, but you get kind of product that's designed by a famous high-priced designer. And H&M did the same things a couple of times before. They did it with Balmain. They did it, I think, with maybe Madonna, but I'm not sure. Don't take my word for it, but I think they did many, many collaborations. Okay. So basically, now that we have concluded that exclusivity and personalization are marketing tools that have existed since forever, and they have been certainly perfected in the traditional retailing, but I want to talk about how can Web3 be put into this mix, why and how. And the main point in here, and that's what I told you in the beginning of the session, is that exclusivity and personalization are well-known marketing tools. Okay. And they have been long used in traditional retailing, but we're going today to look at them from the Web3 perspective. And in this way, enhance this already existing business models. And we're basically looking to improve them with new technologies. So Web3 offers lots of tools, but some of the most important ones, most like usually used ones, are the rewarding system, NFTs, and communities. However, this is the end product. So this is what the user sees. And we actually need to look at it from a different perspective. We need to look at it from a perspective of a marketing person. So, okay, these are my tools, but what am I getting from them? What do they represent for me? What's behind them? And these are several most important, let's say, benefits that Web3 gives to marketers. All of these benefits will be easier to understand once we dive deeper into the Web3 tools of rewarding NFTs and communities, and I will talk about them a little bit after this. And in this way, you'll be able to understand how using these tools can actually give you, particular benefits and insights. So let's just list them now. So from a marketing point of view, Web3 is a tool to cluster customers. It's a tool for very close communication with users. It's a tool to create new and more loyal brand ambassadors. It's a tool to get new and very important customer data. It's a tool for new storytelling, and it's a tool to get to new markets. Now, let's rewind and go back to explaining the rewarding system, NFTs, and communities, and to see how we are going to look at them from a marketing perspective and which benefits we're going to get from these three tools. Okay. So let's first off talk about rewarding. So rewarding happens through community-driven incentives. You already know that. Gamification, proof of attendance, on-site discounts, giveaways, and much more. But to marketers, rewarding means that they will be able to cluster their customers. How? You're probably asking yourselves. Well, first of all, clusters are like groups or classifications that you put your customers in, or they put themselves in based on their shared interests, preferences, behaviors. And through rewarding, you will be able to understand what kind of rewards they want to receive, what makes them engage, what makes them take action. And these are the data that you need to differentiate who belongs where in your audience and to know what you need to offer them. Also, rewarding gives you the opportunity to communicate with your customers, to engage with them. So, for example, a way to drive engagement is through gamification or, making games where users can earn rewards for reaching certain levels, for example, or completing challenges. And this can create, a sense of competition and motivate users to continue using your platform. Additionally, transparency in the reward system can increase engagement as users, feel more invested and involved in the success of your platform or your project. Then when we're talking about creating brand ambassadors, this kind of comprises everything else, because if you're transparent and you reward your users or customers, they will stay, they will recommend you and recommend you to others, and they will be loyal to you. So also rewarding is a great system of collecting data about your customers. So, check the number of users, the frequency of engagement, the types of content that users engage with the most. And that's what I told you about earlier, that collecting data in Web3 is much more spontaneous, and it's much easier and more creative to get data. So customers actually leave this data to you when you, for example, start a giveaway where they need to, for example, react to a piece of content produced by you, and that's how you gather all this data. This is just one example. Rewarding is also an amazing way of storytelling. So, for example, a retailer can create a game, and I think that some of the retailers, I think Louis Vuitton actually did this as well, and Gucci did this as well, I think. So a retailer can create a game where users can play, and through playing the game, learn more about the brand, its history, its products, and at the end of the game, they can collect their reward, or they can collect a reward after every level. And after all of this, they, on top of that, stay loyal to you. So you see how it's all connected. Finally, you can reach new markets. How? So by rewarding, early adopters of your product or service, you can create a sense of exclusivity and urgency, encouraging more users to try to try your product or your service. And this can help businesses expand into new markets by generating buzz and interest around the product. Also, by rewarding users for providing feedback and engaging with your products, businesses or you can gather valuable insights that can inform marketing and sales, to strategize how to get to new markets. And now let's talk about NFTs. By covering these 3 points that are connected to NFTs, so these are identification with an NFT, PFP NFT, and clusters, you will have a clearer picture of why NFTs are such an important tool and why so many Web3 projects are actually revolved around NFTs. But you'll also be able to understand how they are beneficial to what I was talking about from a marketing point of view, which is a perspective that we are focusing on today. So when we're talking about identification with an NFT, so when people choose which NFT to buy, they mostly buy the ones that they can identify with. So they buy an NFT that represents what they are or what they want to be. You can actually read people by their NFTs, and that's crazy. I have a couple of NFTs. One of them is Masters of Blockchain by Ape School, and I got this actually by Ape School, but then I was actually very, very happy with my NFT because it had traits that are actually so similar to my personal characteristics. So I'm very happy about my NFT, and it makes me actually want to work on improving its value. So this is actually the main value that you can offer to your customers, that they want to be part of your success. Okay, but let's go back to what I was speaking before. So if we're talking about NFTs, for example, in the form of an avatar, you're most likely to buy an avatar that resonates with you. So maybe you wear glasses, so you're more likely to buy an avatar that wears glasses, right? Or as I was talking with my personal, example, your NFT holds a set of certain values that you cherish, So maybe the trait of your NFT is that is optimism or being pensive or like business oriented, and these traits all define who will actually buy a certain NFT. When we're talking about PFP NFTs, PFP NFTs are actually like serve as profile pictures for the owners. And these NFTs are typically sold in limited quantities, and each one is unique in some way, either through its design, color scheme, or other feature. And one of the key benefits of PFP NFTs is their rarity. So they're very rare. And this is actually where you get to play with personalization and exclusivity. So as I already said, people like to identify with their NFTs. So imagine you issue a collection of avatars, then to boost, their sales and make them a little bit more special, you decide to issue a limited edition of the same collection, but now you add different features to the avatars. So now your avatars have hats, glasses, makeup, different hair colors, and so on. By doing this, you actually raise a chance of them being sold, even though, they are very specific, because there is someone out there who will, identify fast with this avatar because, they, for example, have the same type of hair. And they will be willing to pay more money to get this avatar that has the same type of hair as they do. So besides helping your customers identify with their avatars, you also give them this feeling of exclusivity because it's a limited edition NFT, meaning that they're rare and they belong to a group of lucky ones who managed to snatch an NFT before others. So basically, owning a PFP NFT can be seen as a status symbol, and the limited supply of these NFTs means that they can increase in value over time. Additionally, PFP NFTs can be used to provide access to exclusive content or events, adding even more value for their owners. So do you see now how Web3 can boost personalization and exclusivity? And, I will, of course, share more examples later on of this. Another thing to consider are clusters. As I said before, clusters are like groups of people, a sort of classification of who belongs to which group of people. And all of those NFTs carry some kind of connotations and meanings with them. And also it's important to say that all the NFTs have communities around them. So the key kind of point here is that you buy a certain NFT because you resonate with its values, with this community, with what it means. So for example, if you bought a Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT, this means that you want to feel special because they're very expensive. It's hard to get them. They bring a lot of benefits and give you an access to a group of very successful people. So basically, we can conclude that if you want to be a Bored Ape Yacht Club owner, you are ambitious. You don't settle for less. You are business oriented, and you want to be, or you are, successful in real life, and you want to be a part of this exclusive group of successful people. And this is very beneficial to know because each time you're creating an NFT project, you need to know and create NFTs for a certain group of people. You need to know who your buyers want to be. So for example, if you're creating an NFT collection whose aim is to increase sales of, let's say, a punk rock teenage collection for girls in real life, you have to create a story around the NFTs that will attract girls who identify with being punk rock teenagers. So you will have to create benefits that would attract them to buy your NFTs, like exclusive passes to concerts, meet and greet with celebrities, or create NFTs that will have different traits like black lipstick, pink hair, special jewelry, and so on. Okay. Yes. Moving on to communities. I'm not gonna tell you what communities are. You know what communities are. You're familiar with that. The communities are the backbone of every single Web3 project, and without them, the project would simply fail. And through communities, you can, of course, put your communities in clusters. So this is the place where they share their opinions, what they like, what they don't like, their preferences, their behavior patterns, where they share their data, basically. So through communities, you get to talk and engage with your customers. You see how they react to your activities and to your project. It's also a great way to explore storytelling and really immerse customers into your story, and not only that, but make them a part of your story. Also, communities are a great way to reach new markets. So, for example, by creating online communities around a product or a service, you can encourage community members to invite their friends and their colleagues to join your community. So, by rewarding users for growing the community, you can expand your reach to new markets. Now, let's take a look at Nike. So, for example, Nike in 2019 released a sneaker collection called CryptoKicks. Sorry, CryptoKicks. It's not CryptoPunks, it's CryptoKicks. Those sneakers carried NFTs with them, and the owners of these sneakers / NFTs could use special discounts, get a first look at what new products will look like, play a special game, and win more prizes. Not only that, but most recently, because Nike is one of the biggest retailers and one of the most active retailers in Web3 space. I mean, you can see how much money they generated from being active in Web3. But what I wanted to say, yes. So they developed an entire Web3 community called Swoosh, where members are able to collect digital creations, which are, where they can create their own shoes, jerseys. They're able to unlock access to physical products or events like conversations with athletes or designers. So lots of interesting things. The members of the community benefit from a lot of interesting and very exclusive things. So being a member of Nike Web3 community actually pays off, and it will certainly grow and offer more interesting benefits, exclusive access, and customized goods. So do you see how Nike takes on the power of personalization and exclusivity through their community Swoosh? And do you see how marketers are able to develop close relationships with their customers, engage with them, follow their behavior, gather data from them? All of this leads to Nike having a better insight on how to make strategies and how to get to new markets, how to create more successful projects, how to experiment with less error, and so on. The benefits are endless practically. So let's take a look at some more examples of very successful projects done by famous retailers using Web3 and personalization and exclusivity. So most recently, before I begin, I just want you to think about all these examples and draw connections from what I was talking about before, and draw conclusions about how they are using Web3, how they're using personalization, exclusivity, and how to look at all of these examples from the marketing perspective, what I talked about before. So pay attention. Also, feel free to, of course, state your opinions on why you think something was successful, or what could have been done better, what next steps should be, or whatever you like. Feel free to type in the comments. I would love to hear your opinions. So many luxury brands jumped in on the Web3 train immediately. And why is that? That's because, luxury brands and Web3 both place a very high value on exclusivity. So luxury brands create limited edition products and offer exclusive experiences to their customers, while Web3, through blockchain technology, uses scarcity and limited supply to create value for their digital assets. So in addition to their online offerings, luxury brands are beginning to explore other ways of creating custom customer experiences. So, for example, they may offer, exclusive pop-up shops or personalized events that allow customers to experience their products and services in a more intimate setting. But let's see the concrete examples straight from high fashion. So, most recently, Gucci partnered up with Yuga Labs, and they decided to create a unique pendants for their customers. They were limited, so only a number of NFTs were being sold, which would certainly make buyers feel very special, right? And the sale lasted for 24 hours or until sold out, and this created a sense of urgency. But also, this sale was only for those who already had an NFT from Bored Ape Yacht Club, and only the holders of these NFTs could participate in it. So the end result was that in a few days, more than 3,000 pendants were sold, and Gucci made $5.4 million. And don't forget that these pendants don't even exist yet. So basically, everyone jumped to buy Gucci pendants before they even existed. And they will be produced and delivered in a few months. So this is very, very interesting. So do you notice here, in terms of creating exclusivity and personalization, do you notice this moment here? And let's take a look at more examples now from different projects. Next, we have Tiffany, who did last year a collaboration with CryptoPunks. It's something similar to Gucci. So they debuted and quickly sold out a limited collection of 250 custom jewel pendants for holders of CryptoPunk, which is a popular, of course, NFT collection. So to buy this Tiffany NFT, customers also had to already own a CryptoPunk of their own. So meaning that not everyone can get access to Tiffany's NFTs. And to think that it's already hard to get an original CryptoPunk. So this alone makes this project highly exclusive. So what happens if you were actually eligible to own one of these 250 pendants? So for each NFT purchased, Tiffany designers would create a custom pendant based on the buyer's CryptoPunk. So each CryptoPunk has a unique combination of 87 attributes like medical mask, a hat, or an earring, and more than 150 colors, which would be reflected in this pendant. So not only that, but each piece would have 18 karat gold and would feature at least 30 gemstones or diamonds. So basically, you get a pendant with an attribute or trait, as I said before, very personalized. And there are only 250 of them out there, and they are full of gold and they have a bunch of diamonds. So I think that this collaboration is really a perfect example of exclusivity and personalization strategy in Web3. And I have to mention that they quickly sold out, even though it cost around $50,000, not including the CryptoPunk that you already had to buy before to even be eligible for Tiffany's NFT. So an expensive hobby. Okay. For example, H&M opened their first virtual showroom And they gathered an amazing amount of participants and customers because, they are playing with this idea of personalization. So do you remember that at the very beginning of this presentation, I told you that 70% of Gen Z users say that they dress their avatars the way that they dress themselves, and that avatar style influences their real world outfits. I also told you that many people choose to buy their NFTs because they identify themselves with their attributes. So this is the same kind of premise H&M uses here. So with their virtual showroom, they're allowing their customers to connect their physical and digital selves and personalize the way that they dress. So in this way, they can provide their customers with the storytelling they want. They can follow what their customers do. They can engage with them and communicate closer and just create really strong bonds with their customers, offering them along the way new and exciting experiences. Another example is Alo Yoga. Alo Yoga, in turn, plays with the power of exclusivity. So they released a collection which consisted of very high-priced and quality ski pieces, including jackets, sweaters, ski suits, and they paired it with their twin pieces, which unlock NFT benefits. So these benefits included access to Alo houses. So these are week-long events such as Fashion Week, a personal training session at Alo Wellness Club, and access to personal shopping and styling advice. And, their chief marketing officer said that all of this was very intentional because they wanted to create a sense of, exclusivity by granting holders access to spaces which are not generally open to public. Okay, so now that we have covered, personalization, exclusivity, and traditional retailing, we put Web3 in the mix. We are coming towards the end of the session today, but let's just sum up a little bit and say what retailers get from all of this that we talked about today. So first of all, you get increased customer engagement and loyalty. So you offer, personalized experiences, rewards, and exclusive products that can create a sense of attachment and loyalty among customers, which of course leads to increased sales and kind of like repeat business. You get a higher perceived value because exclusivity and personalization can create a perception of value among customers, leading them to be willing to pay a premium price for exclusive products or experiences, resulting in higher profit margins for retailers. Then you can get enhanced customer insights. So by using Web3 technology to connect and analyze customers' data, retailers can gain valuable insights into customer behavior and preferences, which allows you to make more informed, let's say, business decisions and better tailor your offerings to your customers' needs. Also, Web3 technology can enable secure and transparent tracking of the supply chain, ensuring that exclusive products are authentic and they can be sourced, which can enhance their value and appeal to customers. And finally, by taking advantage or using the Web3 technology to provide exclusive and personalized experiences, retailers can differentiate themselves from their customers, creating a competitive advantage, which can help you really attract and retain customers, which ultimately leads to increased profits. And for the end, let's just sum up that today we were talking about how to take your business to your strategies actually of exclusivity and personalization, take them to the next level with the help of Web3. So we talked about personalization in Web3, and we concluded that you can give them what they want without them, directly sharing their personal data with you. So in traditional retailing, people share their emails, for example, and here, sharing data comes more organically. Then we were talking about exclusivity, which is based on customers who want to feel VIP. They want to feel important. They want to be special. And we talked about tools on how to make that happen. So I just want to say thank you for listening to me for almost an hour, I think.
Thank you, Anna.
I hope that I explained, the essence. I told you, Darko, before when we prepared this presentation that there is so much to be told, because it's an endless sea of opportunities, really. But I had to kind of focus.
No, I think it was perfect, because the biggest point, and this was actually the eye-opening for me, was the change of perspective. Because usually if you are a user, if you are a consumer, it doesn't matter if in Web 2 or Web 3, you see just a certain part and you don't understand what is actually the value for the guys which are driving it. And now we change the perspective in your presentation, and you showed us, let's say, how valuable Web3 can be for the retailers, even without selling anything. Even if they don't earn any cryptocurrencies or dollars or whatever, even just analyzing the Web3 is creating unbelievable data which retailer can use. And this was, for me, something very special, because usually we think that blockchain is anonymous, of course, nobody knows who is behind the digital wallet and so on. That's true, that's right. But if I buy something, for example, PFP NFT, and you explain that perfectly, then I'm showing what is actually something that I like. I want to be grouped in a cluster and all these kind of things. And the retailers are dreaming about that, because this is the base for the future for their business. So that's why thank you very much. I think it was very, very valuable to change the perspective and to learn that the Web3 is creating so many tools that can be used from the retailers even without selling anything. Absolutely great. Thank you very much for that.
Yes. Okay. So do we announce the next episode now, or at the end?
Go ahead. Of course.
So, next episode is coming in May, and we are talking about another very important thing in Web3, and that's customer loyalty. So we're going to talk about opportunities and challenges that come with customer loyalty. And it's going to be hosted by my colleague, Milica. So Milica is also a great presenter, and I'm really looking forward to finding out more about it, because, she is going to really dive deep into the topic. So make sure to,
That's great, because I think you created today very interesting base, let's say.
Yeah.
And now we can put on top customer loyalty, which actually need all those elements that you just described.
Yes, customer loyalty is like encompasses all that I talked about today. It's like, it's everywhere, so to speak.
Thank you very much. Before we close the session, if there are any questions, please just comment and we will pick them up and answer.
Absolutely.
In between, let me just give you a very short information. I hope you were able today to see what is the way how we want to educate. We want to show the different perspectives, because only if you change the perspective, you can really go behind the things and understand why the things are working like they work. That's the strategy of the Ape School. We want to create, let's say, knowledge and education, which is accessible for everyone. That's why everything is free. And we want to change the perspective, which are really useful for everyone who wants to navigate through the sometimes very complex Web3 space. So, Anna, thank you again a lot. It was a really great session. Thank you to all people in the audience, and hope to see you soon again in the next session. And don't forget,
Yes.
masterclass, register, and
That's
jump
what
in
I
the
wanted to
train.
say. Yes.
Thank you very much, everyone. See you soon again. Bye.
See you soon.
Hold up. Wait. When I walk past these, man, they nose up. Got it from Cuba, got more work than the tutor. Hey, but